Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, on this beautiful day. We had the most ugliest summer in the Netherlands since 103 years. So I was so fortunate to be invited by the Montenegrin authorities to be here. Lovely place. Thank you for inviting the Dutch government to present to you. Okay, yes, just a second. I'm not that technical. Okay, let's see how it works. Okay, that's the building. I hope you can see, but on the picture, that's the building where the Minister for Gender and LGBT Equality has its office. And she's also the Minister for Education, Culture and Science, as Mr. Graupner said it in his introduction. In my 12-minute presentation, I will touch upon three things. What are the reasons for going towards equality? And what steps could Montenegro take in the nearby future? But first, let's move to a topic that both countries share, the Netherlands, Montenegro, and many countries share in Europe and in the world. That's the topic of gay pride marches. Let's see if it works. Here you see a picture of the recent gay pride canal parade in Amsterdam. So the Dutch government was the first of the 80 vessels having a parade in Amsterdam for 2.5 hours. So 500,000 people visited the gay pride event. And I must say, the gay pride still plays an important role in the Netherlands when it concerns on combating discrimination on the grounds of sexual orientation and gender identity. I look forward to the workshop this afternoon about the lessons that we could learn from the gay pride demonstrations and manifestations all over Europe and the world. And I'm proud to be in Montenegro. Proud because the Montenegrin people can be proud to have this event in their country. So I would like to congratulate the Vice Prime Minister and the Montenegro authorities for having this International Human Rights Conference in this beautiful country. Proud to be tolerant, that was the official theme of the Dutch government contribution to its national gay pride. Citizens are proud to be tolerant. Now I would like to move on and touch upon the question why public authorities should strive for equality. Some of the speakers yesterday already touched most of the cases that comes along when you strive for equality. Why is equality important? Why? 4 cases. The political case, that's quite obvious. We want to share and join one Europe. So that's a sound and clear political case. So Mr. Duško Marković yesterday expressed perfectly fine that the Montenegrin authorities have an ambition on that. There's also a moral case. Why? Simply, respecting human rights. Human rights are for all, not a menu. You can pick and choose. And the third reason for the Dutch government to strive for equality is the legal case. And I'm very fortunate that the Council of Europe, Mr. Mats Lindberg, and yesterday the ambassador of the European Union and the ambassador and other ambassadors touched upon the legal case for joining One Europe and meeting with international law, regulations, soft law, and so on. And finally, the business case. Like I said, Montenegro is a beautiful country. And it's about using the talent of people. If employees can be the person that they really are and feel, they will perform better. So it's a matter of better use the talents of people. It's good for economics, good for tourism, perhaps. So the theme of this meeting is toward Europe, towards equality. And now I would like to touch upon briefly some standards and values that we share, or have to meet at least. This is an overview of the recent steps forward in this century. Because we're really making progress. We are speeding up in Europe, actually. It's our belief that this century brought some important steps forward in the combat against discrimination on the grounds of sexual orientation and gender identity. Two things that haven't mentioned yet is the recent Charter Against Violence to Women. Because it's as Minister for Gender Equality and Gender Identity and Sexual Orientation, it's very vital that the agreements in the Charter against violence to women also address and includes violence to lesbian women, bisexual women, and transgender women. So just for the record, that's in the Charter. And then, of course, we have the very recent major step forward in Geneva. The Human Rights Council really made a clear statement, the first time ever. Mr. Boris Dietrich from Human Rights Watch will join us later today, and he is one of the editors of the Yogyakarta Principles. For time reasons, I leave it as it is, but these are real steps forward. Now back to the Balkan, back to Montenegro. What should be the next steps? First, before I go to the steps, just to give you a hint, since the 42 recommendations are used by the Dutch government as a tick the box. So for the coming years, the Dutch government will see how far it went with its policy and is checking and will check the 42 recommendations made by the ministers of the Council of Europe, including your minister. So now let's move on to the steps that Montenegro could take. I won't answer that question for you, because it's only you that can answer what are the next steps in your country. But at least I can inform you about the steps that we took. We took 4 steps. 40 years ago, we abolished the penalty on homosexuality. The second step we made is we had, like you, a General Equal Treatment Act, and we start combating discrimination. And the reason why the government decided to do that was quite dramatic, because 30 years ago we had a gay pride march in one of the Dutch cities, and it was terrible. In fact, that was a turning point in the Dutch history. Why? Many people at that gay pride march throw stones, rotten eggs, tomatoes to people that were marching for equal rights. And because there was not adequate police protection, it brought a breakthrough in the Dutch society. Is this what we want? Civil society and the government decided that must stop. And for that reason, we started with a comprehensive policy plan. So that's why I'm also so pleased about the announcement by the Montenegrin authorities about their future plans. So in fact, I have brought a copy for you. So if you are interested in the policy plan of the Dutch government, please feel free. But words on paper is not enough. So the government decided to work closely together and forming a government working group. I will touch upon that later. The third step we took is promoting equality. You have to abolish and fight and combat discrimination. Sure, all grounds. But that's not enough. Equality is another area that's important for the European Union. So we came up with different measures on family law, criminal law, and finally in 2001 we had registered partnership and civil marriage open for all kind of couples, same-sex couples and different-sex couples. The final step, because these are the quick wins, the easy gains. The hardest part is to bridge the gap between de facto equality, how is equality in daily life, and equality on paper. This is a picture I would show you. You see, there are 10 ministries working together in the Netherlands, and those 10 ministries have contributed to this policy plan. So from sport, home affairs, justice, police, and also the Ministry of Defense is working closely together. Economic affairs, so you can think about yourself on what public areas can contribute to equality in society. I want to wrap up and finalize my presentation. The taken steps since the Gay Pride in the Netherlands '82. We have a comprehensive approach. We have a working group. There is a policy plan. We spend 33 euro cents per taxpayer a year. We have recognized civil society, and we have a structural dialogue with civil society. We take some infrastructural steps because it's about building. So we have established an infrastructure. We have an equal rights and human rights body, an expertise center, so the government provides expertise to civil society, and we have a barometer. I brought with you a copy of the barometer. The Dutch ambassador yesterday already referred to this barometer, in which it says that 91% of Dutch population is all right with sexual orientation and homosexuality and accept it as it is. And also interesting for you to see how other countries in Europe perform. And finally, we have in all cities in the Netherlands anti-discrimination offices that cover all grounds of discrimination. And that's very helpful to have the ears and eyes on what's happening in society. I'd like to congratulate Montenegrin authority, Montenegro, as the first country to become partner of the European project of the Council of Europe. I'm really impressed by that enormous, important step. I really hope that as Holland, as one of the contributors to the project, other countries will join. We go to work together in the future. And just to give you a picture of what the countries that already find each other and catching up in fighting and combating discrimination, it's Flanders, Belgium, Slovenia, Spain, Switzerland, Norway, United Kingdom, Scotland, Poland, Ireland, Hungary, Finland, the Netherlands, Czech Republic, Germany, Sweden, and Estonia. So welcome in the family. And before I end, I would like to say thank you, and I would like to give you a small present. So just give me a second, Mr. Vice Prime Minister, to give you a present on behalf of my minister.